Now at 9, the Joplin Fire Department is busy inspecting businesses to see if they're up to code. Plus, we'll check out what it's like in a day in the life of a Pittsburgh patrol officer.
Republicans say they will use the debt limit as a way to fight for spending cuts, even as the White House says that's reckless. I'm Lauren Blanchard in Washington with more as the U.S. hits its debt ceiling.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jalen Banks. An Oklahoma community is in mourning as they prepare for the funeral of a missing girl. The funeral for 4-year-old Athena Brownfield is scheduled for January 25th. She was reported missing on January 10th after her sister was found alone by a postal carrier in Cyril, Oklahoma. Court documents say a witness claims one of Athena's caretakers severely beat the child on Christmas and left with her body. The remains of a child were found during the investigation, but authorities have not officially confirmed that they are Athena's. Athena's caretakers have been charged in the case. Alicia Adams is facing charges of 2 counts of child neglect. Ivan Adams faces 1 count of first-degree murder and 1 count of child neglect. A former gymnastics coach takes a plea deal for child sex crimes. 46-year-old Kip Johnson of Joplin pleads guilty to 2 counts of second-degree statutory sodomy. Prosecutors dropped the charge of furnishing pornography to a minor as part of the deal. Joplin police arrested Johnson in February of 2021 for crimes they say happened in 2018 and 2019. They say he assaulted a juvenile victim who was his gymnastics student at the time. Have you ever wondered what a patrol officer shift is like? KOAM's Amber Jenkins spent a day with an officer and shows us what it's like.
B45, Jefferson and Rouse.
Every time a police officer clocks in for duty, there's no telling what their shift holds.
Law enforcement officers come from a variety of backgrounds, and it's either backgrounds or previous experience that can help them with certain things, or they're going to have to learn a new skill.
Pittsburgh Police Corporal Hunter Peterson says an officer has to be prepared for anything. On this day, the unexpected included dealing with a down power line.
It just rotted out, and the wind last night blew it over.
Routine speeding tickets.
Sorry. Is your license and insurance, please?
And in one case of a traffic stop that uncovered an outstanding warrant and led to an arrest.
Okay. You got anything besides your wallet and phone in here? Okay. I'm just going to check you real quick. So obviously patrol officers have to be very level-headed. You have to have good critical thinking to think through the situation, because we have to be making decisions in real time.
At one time, Peterson thought he wanted to be a photojournalist, but now he says the best part of his job is catching bad guys and working with his colleagues. When you spend more time in a squad car rather than at home, your coworkers become a part of your family. But Peterson also has a family at home.
There are sacrifices that a family has to make when you've got a law enforcement member in the family as one of the parents. But yeah, it's great having my kids be so proud of me, of what I do. They love telling their friends. Sometimes they love telling strangers, which isn't always something we want them to do.
It's one more day in the life of an officer. This day ends as every officer hopes every day will, returning home to the people he loves most. Reporting in Pittsburgh, Amber Jenkins, KOAM News.
And if you're interested, the Pittsburgh Police Station is currently hiring patrol officers. And now to weather, our Chief Meteorologist Doug Hetty joins us.
Well, not a bad day for us today. We got some sunshine out there, but it was significantly colder than what we've seen all week long. 43 for our high, 45 is where we should be. So pretty close to where we should be for the middle of January. But you can see those temperatures trending downward, upper 50s yesterday. Today, not so much, only into lower 40s across the region. And it's cold now, 29. Nevada 33 in Monette, Grand Lake 36, Pittsburgh at 30. We have Parsons sitting at 34 degrees. It's been windy as well. It's still a little breezy out there, but the winds are starting to calm down, which is good. It's not going to feel as cold, and we have pretty much clear skies. Not too much is going on here, but we are tracking our next storm system out toward the west, which will start to affect us by the weekend. Through the night, dropping into the 20s, back to 35 by 10 a.m. with sunshine. We'll look at that system for the weekend here in just a bit.
For the first time since the COVID-19 pandemic started, the Joplin Fire Department is inspecting businesses within the city, and KOAM's Carrie Worthen went with firefighters to find out why these checks are vital.
So as long as you stack stuff and keep an 18-inch clearance from your sprinkler heads, In addition to fighting fires, the Joplin Fire Department inspects local businesses, making sure they follow code. Each of the 6 fire stations inspect 100 to 200 businesses a year.
So every year we try to inspect every business in the city, and the purpose of those inspections are to make sure that the property is safe and that the occupants have a reasonable expectation of safety while they're there. Plus we want to help protect the property itself.
Regional Eye Center is just one of many businesses they inspect. This was Surgery Center Administrator Lindsay Hobson's first examination.
I wasn't sure all the different places they would need to go to see everything, which was everywhere, all the places.
Grimes said that the first inspection can be stressful, but is also helpful.
So we help them to understand it protects their property, protects the lives of the people that work here, and more importantly, their customers that come and keep them in business.
Very important that we know that everything's in working order and that if we have an emergency that the sprinkler system will work and that they will be able to come quickly and help us.
The walkthrough also allows the department to update information about the business. The captain showed me new software that helps track calls, inspections, and business contact information.
It helps us to do our job more efficiently and effective. It allows dispatch to get us the information faster, which generally translates into a faster response and usually a better outcome.
In Joplin, Carrie Worthen, KOAM News.
Current.
Captain Grimes told Carrie that if a business has anything that needs to be added or changed after the inspection, the business normally has up to 14 days to complete that. A Pittsburgh networking group is giving people a chance to learn what they're about. Pittsburgh area young professionals today hosted its kickoff event. Members of the public were able to attend, meet other professionals, learn about the group and future events.
So we volunteer with the Lord's Diner, Fostering Connections, Communities in Schools. There's many organizations that we volunteer with throughout the year. And if anybody is looking for volunteers, they can always hit us up. We're happy to help wherever we can.
The group plans to host lunch and learns after work breaks and other professional development events throughout the year. The clock is now ticking for Congress to raise, suspend, or strike a deal on the debt limit or else risk financial disaster. The Treasury Secretary says starting today, her department has to take measures to avoid a government default. Many say this issue should not be up for debate, but a group of Republicans want to use it as a way to force spending cuts. Fox News correspondent Lauren Blanchard is in Washington with more.
The U.S. has reached its debt limit. Now Congress is facing a deadline to reach an agreement on what to do. But the Treasury Secretary and much of Washington hopes it doesn't take that long.
It'll all clear up. It'll be fine. It's just all negotiation tactics. It's all screaming and hollering.
In a letter to Congress Thursday, Secretary Janet Yellen wrote that she now has to put in place her extraordinary measures to keep from defaulting. The Treasury will pause investments into government employee retirement, disability, and health care funds. That will get the government to roughly June, though Yellen says that timeline is, quote, subject to considerable uncertainty. The White House says they are firm on wanting a clean bill to raise the debt limit, meaning no strings attached.
To threaten default, to threaten economic catastrophe, nobody, Democrat or Republican, should do that, no matter how much they believe in their agenda.
However, new House Speaker Kevin McCarthy wants to negotiate spending cuts. He's bolstered by a group of House Republicans who say the administration has acted recklessly with the nation's budget.
I fully believe we're going to have a debt ceiling deal, fully believe that. But I will also say that the White House strategy of, oh, we're not going to have any negotiations is insane. There must be spending restraints.
Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell says he does not think there will ultimately be a default, but adds the administration will have to negotiate with Republicans. In Washington, Lauren Blanchard, Fox News.
KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14 takes this time to honor another four-state hero. Darren Johnson served in the U.S. Army from 1990 to 2009. The Jasper, Missouri native was stationed in Iraq and received an Army Achievement Medal, National Defense Service Medal, and Iraq Campaign Medal, among other awards. We salute Darren Johnson, a four-state hero. Coming up, no relief in sight at the grocery store.
Inflation may be easing, but the price you pay for food is expected to go up. I'm Nate Foy in New York City. What you can expect at the grocery store, next.
Grocery prices will likely keep rising throughout 2023, making it harder for Americans already struggling to make ends meet. Fox News correspondent Nate Foy has that story.
Inflation may be easing, but food prices are expected to go up. The Department of Agriculture predicts prices will increase over 3.5% this year. The cost of vegetables is up 38% from last month alone. This as a shortage of eggs is driving up prices as well.
There weren't any eggs. I went to Vaughn's Carnival, which is the Mexican market nearby, here Target and Costco. Now there are eggs, it's just expensive.
Around this time last year, the average price for a dozen large grade A eggs in the United States was $1.93. Now the average cost is nearly $5, and even more for organic brands.
I've had people in the past complain about the cost of eggs, that $5 was too much. They could get it cheaper at the grocery store, but now nobody says that anymore.
The high prices have some turning to non-traditional options. Like in California, one farmer is charging people $575 to rent her egg-producing chickens for 6 months.
So that includes everything. That's your coop, your feeder, your water, your 2 hens, and all of the food that they need for their 6 month.
But before you head out to rent those chickens, make sure you keep this in mind.
If you're expecting to get chickens to save money, probably not going to happen. But with the price of eggs going up, and if you eat a lot of eggs, that could rebalance this cost calculation.
The USDA says egg inventories are starting to improve, even if the prices are not. In New York City, Nate Foy, Fox News.
The U.S. Department of Agriculture is increasing the regulation of organic products for the first time in more than 30 years. The agency is putting layers of protection around the organic seal. The new rule means more on-site inspections and certification for organic imports, which means businesses will need to show the important parts of their supply chain that are organic. The rule goes into effect March 20th. Those affected will have a year to comply with the changes. Chief Meteorologist Doug Heddy is next with a complete look at the forecast. And later in sports, it's the opening day of the Bill Hanson Memorial Tournament at Pittsburgh High. We'll have the highlights.
Well, it definitely turned out to be a sunny day for us today, but a much cooler day than what we have had really all week long. And it's going to stay a little bit on the cooler side, but at least we have clear skies, a nice shot at Indigo Sky Casino and Resort Indigo just outside of Seneca, Missouri. All right, let's zoom in. Let's check out the temps. Earlier today, most of us low to mid 40s. Over the past several hours, of course, we've dropped off. Greenfield 32, we have Pineville 37, Seneca 35, 35 in Afton. You can see Columbus 33, Chautauqua 34, Chanute at 35. It's going to be a cold night for us tonight. It was also a very windy day, but the winds are starting to calm down, which is good to see. And it looks like the winds will be near calm for us tonight. 7th and range line currently sitting at 35. West, southwesterly winds are light. Humidity is at 70%. Through the night, upper 20s. By 10, plenty of sunshine. But we're still struggling to warm up, only up to about 35 during the morning hours. All right, clear skies, not too much is going on here. You can see some clouds increasing down through Oklahoma and parts of Texas. That is the beginnings of our next storm system building Salt Lake to Las Vegas to LA. It's a weak system, but it will give us some changes as we go into the weekend. Tonight's going to be fine. We're stopping at 7 a.m. We're mainly sitting upper 20, so it's going to be a cold start. We warm up near 40 by noon. Then once we get into the afternoon, a little bit warmer, 46 Monette, 48 in Bonita, Chanute, up to about 46 degrees. So not a bad day, pretty close to where we should be for this time of the year. All right, tomorrow night, here come the clouds increasing. So cloudy start on Saturday. Look at the snow showers and rain showers out across Kansas and also Oklahoma. But this system kind of falls apart as it moves in. So most of us, this is early Saturday afternoon, just getting random rain showers, mixing with a little bit of snow in our northwestern counties. Hit and miss showers throughout the day on Saturday. This is 5:30 p.m. As we go into Saturday night, another little batch rotates through. This is when some snow can mix in across the region or even briefly switch over to light snow into Sunday morning, and then it will push out of here as we head into Sunday afternoon. If there were any accumulations, right now they look very low. In the white, a dusting upwards to an inch, most of us probably a dusting to a half an inch with this system as we go into the weekend. All right, here's your day planner tomorrow. 27 to start, 42 by noon, 46 by 5. That will be your high temperature. And once this system moves out, we have another storm system which is going to be moving in on Tuesday with chances for snow. We're going to be discussing that in detail in our second half hour. 46 tomorrow, 43 Saturday, 40 on Sunday. Monday looks okay. Wintry mix Tuesday, and it's staying cool Wednesday and Thursday.
Yeah, I was leaving the gym today, and I should have paid attention to yesterday's forecast. Had some sweat on the shirt, walked out, that wind blew, and I was like, yeah, let me hurry up and jog to the car because this is not pleasant. But all right, thank you, Doug.
Yep.
Coming up, calls to do more about the pandemic.
A major bipartisan think tank says the CDC is not getting the job done and needs a reset. I'm Jonathan Seri in Atlanta. I'll have details coming up.
The COVID-19 pandemic is not over, and the international community needs to do more. That's the message from the CEO of Pfizer as the CDC investigates its COVID vaccine booster. Fox News correspondent Jonathan Seri has more from Atlanta.
The head of Pfizer issuing a warning about the politicization of science as the CDC investigates possible problems with its newest booster shot. CEO Albert Bourla did not directly reference the investigation in his remarks to the World Economic Forum, but claims politics and regulations have been the biggest roadblocks to drug makers since the start of the pandemic.
I think the vaccines, the COVID, and the ability to use them or not became severely politicized and became a political statement.
Last week, the CDC flagged a possible link between Pfizer's bivalent booster and strokes in those over 65. But the agency says the risk is, quote, very unlikely, and they're recommending no changes to the current vaccine guidelines as the investigation ramps up.
It's only 21 days after getting this bivalent, and we don't know if it's real or not yet. That's what they're trying to figure out.
Meanwhile, a new report from the Center for Strategic and International Studies, a bipartisan think tank, says the CDC needs a reset, claiming the agency is not properly structured to carry out its current missions. And a growing number of public health experts say scientists need to do a better job communicating with the general public.
We have to stop our professional scientific speak. If we do that, it'll be the stepping stone of building trust. Governance and national leadership really did not help us.
The new report also says restructuring the CDC will require leaders from both parties to agree to a common reform agenda. In Atlanta, Jonathan Seri, Fox News.
Up next, gonna learn how you can truly get your feelings out about the ex that you can't stand anymore. The Valentine's Day Brookfield Zoo. This Valentine's Day at Brookfield Zoo, they're offering a gift and these ideas who you may have been scorned by your significant other. The zoo is once again offering the opportunity to name a cockroach in honor of that not so special someone in your life. For a minimum donation of $15, you can name a Madagascar hissing cockroach after that former partner or anyone for Valentine's Day. In return, donors receive a certificate of naming that can be filled out and shared or hung on a wall for the holiday. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports coming your way. We'll hear from the Joplin Fire and Police Departments about a rash of vacant house fires in the city.
More than a year after a tragic on-set shooting, Alec Baldwin now facing involuntary manslaughter charges. I'm Ashley Soriano, and I've got the details coming up.
A string of recent vacant home fires have caught Joplin firefighters by surprise. KOAM Shagun Bondali learned that the department is seeing an uptick in these calls.
The Joplin Fire Department is responding to more vacant structures than they have in the past.
You know, within the city of Joplin, we do seem like we have a lot of structure fires. It's not much more than most communities. A lot of those are within vacant structures, but it's one of those situations where a vacant structure is always going to be at greater risk of having a fire than one that have people in it and tending to it all the time.
Despite the buildings being empty, firefighters must respond.
We don't ever go into the situation thinking that there's no one in it. There could be somebody inside it that may even be in there illegally, and while that's not, someone being in there illegally is
is not appropriate, it's still someone that we have to go in and save. The second reason that we do it is that if we just let a fire go, then it threatens all of the property around it, and we don't want to see anyone's property get destroyed.
I'm at the Joplin Police Department, where I spoke to a police captain who explains to me the role of police officers in a trespassing case. And he also explains to me what this sheet of paper called a trespass affidavit can do to protect homeowners and their properties.
An additional step that the homeowners can do is come to the Joplin Police Department and they can fill out a trespass affidavit. This is a legal document that's signed by the owner of the vacant property. They provide their contact information and they sign the piece of paper that says that they will assist in prosecution if somebody is located on that property that shouldn't be there.
Getting friendly with neighbors can save a property.
Somebody owns a vacant house, get to know the neighbors. If the neighbors see somebody on that property that shouldn't be there, then they can call the police. And when the police arrive, if that address does in fact have a trespass affidavit on it, it gives us more ability to get that person off that property.
Reporting in Joplin, Shagmamdele, KOAM News.
Both police and fire departments say regardless of the circumstances, protecting the residents of Joplin is their main priority. The Spiva Center for the Arts in the Cornell Arts Entertainment Complex opened a new exhibit. The exhibit is named after multimedia artist Holly Wilson. Wilson creates figures that serve as her storytellers to the world and conveys stories of the sacred and precious moments of our day, vulnerabilities, and strength. She works in various media, some including paint, photography, and glass.
I think the main thing that really draws people into this work is her intense sculptural installations. There's at least 4 pieces in this show that are just showstoppers.
The exhibit runs until March 4th and is open Tuesday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. The Spiva Center for the Arts also has an exhibit dedicated to Neosho, Missouri native Thomas Hart Benton. The Thomas Hart Benton lithographs exhibition displays his complete collection of 91 lithographs, which reflects the concept of America identifying. The prints displayed are variations of the artist's famous painting.
The work you see here, there's a lot of history. There's a lot about rural life. There's a commentary on, what was happening during the time that he made the work. It's definitely Thomas Hart Benton's style.
And this exhibit is available to visit until March 5th. Amazon is accused by federal safety regulators of failing to keep its workers safe at 3 of its U.S. warehouses. OSHA took action after inspecting 3 Amazon facilities in Florida, Illinois, and New York State. OSHA says investigators found work processes such as workers lifting packages that, quote, were designed for speed but not safety and resulted in serious worker injuries. Amazon could face more than $60,000 in proposed penalties. Prosecutors in New Mexico announced Rust actor and producer Alec Baldwin and armorer Hannah Gutierrez-Reed will each be charged with 2 counts of involuntary manslaughter. Fox News multimedia reporter Ashley Soriano has more from Santa Fe, New Mexico.
Prosecutors here in Santa Fe say a tragic accident on a movie set was the result of criminal behavior. Charges announced Thursday against actor Alec Baldwin and the lead armorer of the film Rust. They're both facing involuntary manslaughter charges in the fatal on-set shooting of cinematographer Helena Hutchins. She was killed and director Joel Souza was wounded when real bullets made it into a prop gun that Baldwin was rehearsing with.
They had an affirmative duty to inspect that gun. Their failure to inspect that gun is the reason why their conduct rises to a level beyond simple negligence.
A third person, an assistant director, has agreed to plead guilty to lesser charges. Baldwin and the armorer are now potentially facing years behind bars, but Baldwin's legal team says he had no way of knowing what type of bullets were in the gun. Writing in part, quote, Mr. Baldwin had no reason to believe there was a live bullet in the gun or anywhere on the movie set. He relied on the professionals with whom he worked, who assured him the gun did not have live rounds. During the initial investigation, the Santa Fe Sheriff's Department noted signs of neglect on the set when it came to securing the prop guns. But some legal experts say prosecutors will have an uphill battle, especially if Baldwin, a popular actor for decades, decides to testify.
when these high-profile individuals, when these celebrities take the stand, even when they're facing criminal charges, they actually they get exonerated. They don't get convicted.
The Santa Fe District Attorney says the charges will officially be filed by the end of the month. In Santa Fe, Ashley Soriano, Fox News.
And a bit later, making it easier to find things that you've lost.
Leave your wallet on the seat back pocket on the plane. Don't worry, artificial intelligence can find it for you. I'm Evan Brown in Miami. I'll have that story straight ahead.
Well, it definitely turned out to be a much cooler day outside today, but we got the sun, so we'll definitely take that as our temperature is mainly into the low to mid 40s for highs. You can see in our western counties a little bit warmer, 46, 47 degrees. We've dropped off a bit over the past couple hours. It is going to be kind of a cold night. Fort Scott 33, Fredonia 34. We have Coffeyville at 36. We have Afton at 32, Grove at 32, 33, and Pineville. Sarcoxie is checking in at 32 degrees. But here's the good news. The winds are starting to calm down. It's been super windy throughout the day, made it feel colder than what it actually is. But with the winds calming down, we're not going to have those low wind chills for us tonight, which is definitely good news. All right, 35, westerly winds, light at 5. Humidity is at 70%. Through the overnight hours, clear skies. We drop back 27, 28 degrees. We start the day with plenty of sunshine, warming to 35 by 10 a.m. Clear skies here. Nothing is going on. Really, the entire Central Plains look pretty good. Here's our next storm system. You can see it really from Salt Lake City down to Las Vegas, LA. It's a weak system heading toward us, and it will change our weather up by the time we head into the weekend. So let's step through your next 72 hours. Tonight, upper 20s, pretty much clear skies. So we're looking at 7 a.m. As we go through the day, quite a bit of sunshine through the morning, 40, 41 degrees by the noon hour. You can see a light northeasterly wind. As we get into the afternoon, pretty good. 45 in Stockton, Anderson 47, Pittsburgh 46, Coffeyville about 48 degrees. So temperatures overall not too bad. Tomorrow night, clouds thicken up by Saturday morning. Here comes that next storm system. The morning should be dry. Here's about 10 a.m. Our western counties starting to pick up some light snow showers and light rain showers. Again, this system is weak, but enough to produce scattered showers throughout the day on Saturday. Northern counties, you'll be mixing with a little bit of snow. Temperature is well above freezing, so it shouldn't be a huge issue. As we go into Saturday evening, hit and miss showers, snow showers to our north. And then as we go into Saturday night, we get another little batch that rotates through. This is the one when we're a little bit cooler that we could get some mixing with or changing over to a little bit of light snow as it passes through. Not a huge deal, but we could get some light accumulations, dusting, half an inch, maybe some areas in our northern counties upwards of an inch. So the impacts aren't going to be huge. 42 by noon tomorrow, high temp, 46 degrees. We do have another storm system right on its heels. As we go next Tuesday into Tuesday night, our next storm system pulls out. We'll get some showers, but we could get some snow on the backside. And if we do, this system will have the potential to drop some heavier amounts across the region. 46 tomorrow, 43 on Saturday, 40 on Sunday. Monday looks good. That next system Tuesday. But as we go through the month, the latter half of the month, we're gradually getting colder, preparing for much colder in February.
Yeah, time to break out those coats and scarves and whatnot and hunker down for the next several weeks.
We had a pretty good week, temperature-wise. So.
For sure. All right. Thank you, Doug. President Biden traveled to California today to visit areas devastated by extreme weather since the new year. It's brought widespread flooding, toppled trees, and triggered hundreds of landslides. The president met with first responders, state and local officials, and communities impacted by the devastation. Coming up in sports, we'll hear from Chiefs head coach Andy Reid in this weekend's playoff matchup with Jacksonville. Plus, the Carthage girls hit the floor for the first round of the Bill Hanson Memorial Tournament in Pittsburgh. Jacob Leonard joins us with those highlights and more next.
Well, today is the opening day of the Bill Hanson Memorial Basketball Tournament at Pittsburgh High School. There are 8 games on the schedule today between the girls and boys brackets. On the girls' side, the Carthage Tigers are first on the schedule, facing Blue Valley Northwest. Now, the winner of this one moves on to face top-seeded Carl Junction in the semifinals tomorrow night. Lauren Choate, really good early for Carthage. 3 from the left side. Then a few minutes later, Choate from about the same spot. She had 8 in the first quarter. Finishes with a team-high 22. The final seconds of the first half, check this out. Jaden Brunnert sneaks behind the defense for the layup. Just beats the buzzer. Carthage goes to half up 5. Third quarter now. Kiana Yates, open 3 from the top of the key. She knocks it down. 17 tonight for Yates. But Blue Valley Northwest owned the second half. Elise Grostadier working inside. She had 14 in the third quarter alone. The Huskies rally in the second half to beat Carthage 58-51. In Frontenac, day 1 of the Raider Classic. Frontenac girls face Blue Valley Southwest tonight. We'll pick it up in the first quarter. Hattie Pyle with it at the top of the key. Drives through traffic, finishes with the left. Home team out in front early. Later on in the first quarter, Kinley Lakey in the corner. Pull-up jumper goes. At that point, it's a tie ball game, but Frontenac finishes this one off tonight. Hattie Hamlin on the near side knocks down the jumper. Raiders get it done over Southwest tonight, 55-45. The Pittsburgh State Gorillas are on the road tonight for a conference doubleheader against Rogers State. Now, the PSU women have won 3 in a row and 8 of the last 10 coming into the night. They're trying to stay rolling tonight against the Hillcats. That one is final. It was ugly. Gorillas roll big, 87-47. Tristan Gegg scores a game-high 25 points for Pitt State, hitting 5 threes on the night. Now, after that one, the Pitt State men hit the floor, trying to snap a 5-game losing streak against Rogers State, but the Hillcats get it done tonight at home, 82-70. Marquis English posted double-double for PSU with 16 points and 11 rebounds. The Kansas City Chiefs are just 2 days away from their playoff opener. The Chiefs host the Jacksonville Jaguars on Saturday, with the winner moving on to the AFC Championship game. Now, Kansas City coming off a bye in the first round of the AFC bracket, while Jacksonville knocked off the Chargers 31-30 in their opener last week. Now, these two head coaches, Andy Reid for the Chiefs, Doug Peterson for the Jags, are no strangers. Peterson has played and coached under Reid in his football career. Now here's Andy Reid on facing Peterson and the difference he's made in Jacksonville in just one season.
Tremendous coaching job, phenomenal coaching job. I imagine he's up for the Coach of the Year. I mean, by his performance and how he's resurrected that program there. And we know they're a good football team. They've only lost 1 game since we played them. So I mean, it's they're playing real good football.
There's just a lot of familiarity between the two teams. Obviously, the two head coaches, and they've already played once this year. Mm-hmm. You get into the playoffs. 2 has better players, and I think it's the Chiefs.
So Chris Jones has yet to have a sack in his playoff career, and the media meant to mention it a lot this week. And he said, "You know what? Just because you guys keep mentioning, I'm going to make sure I get one this weekend."
I believe him.
Yeah, I do too. That's somebody you don't want to make mad at all. All right, well, that's it for sports. We'll be back with more after this. If you've been to an airport lately, chances are you might have lost your wallet, watch, phone, or a piece of luggage. Now, a tech company wants to make it easier for you to get those items back. Fox's Evan Brown has more.
It's no secret the airlines are having a tough time lately. Bad weather and short staffing are giving travelers headaches, if not stranding them in strange cities where they end up leaving behind phones, wallets, and other possessions. Now a new tech company is working to improve one essential airport service, the Lost and Found.
We said we need to bring every piece of it online. We need to help these businesses quickly ingest all these claims. We need to help them match.
It's called Boomerang, a new platform developed specifically for digitizing and streamlining the airport Lost and Found. Instead of searching a big room full of lost items, Boomerang's intelligent and automated logistics software uses AI to quickly match passengers with their missing stuff. And if they're already on the flight home, Boomerang can take it from there too.
We collect shipping details. We collect payment. For the airport, we put the label right inside the product for the business. They print it out, smack it on the box.
The platform is already working at 2 international airports, and they're in talks with many more. And now that airports are quickly adopting the technology, other businesses could follow suit.
Uber and Lyft, stadiums, anyone that finds an item, if you are not set up with smart technology to scale that operation, you're at risk and you have to respond.
The TSA says Americans lose about 1 million items each year at airport checkpoints, and they spend about $3 billion each year trying to replace them. In Miami, Eben Brown, Fox News.
Coming up, if you're looking for some weekend plans, we'll take a look at all the new movies coming to the theaters. Dramas and thrillers are on the big screen this week, while a couple of movies expand to more screens nationwide. Here's a look at what's new in theaters with Fox's Ashley Dvorkin.
When you were a little boy, you were my little ally.
New movies in theaters this week include Julianne Moore and Finn Wolfhard starring in When You Finish Saving the World.
You were going to be one of the good ones.
Written and directed by Jesse Eisenberg, the film follows a mother and teen son struggling to connect and seeking replacements for that bond in relationships around them.
I'm not giving up on my mom.
Nia Long and Storm Reed lead Missing.
The strangest case I've ever seen.
The thriller centers around a daughter taking matters into her own hands to find her mother, who disappeared on vacation in Colombia with her new boyfriend.
It was all waiting to happen.
A couple of movies expand to more theaters nationwide, including Women Talking. The book-to-screen drama is about a group of women in an isolated religious community in 2010 in the aftermath of sexual assault, weighing their faith with options for survival.
That's my girl.
Alice Starling with Anna Kendrick is about a woman pushed to the limit by her psychologically abusive boyfriend, who gains perspective on vacation with her friends, then finds herself tested as she tries to break away from him. And there's the box office toppers, the 3D experience Avatar: The Way of Water, hit AI horror flick Megan, and animated tale Puss in Boots: The Last Wish.
You want to see something cool?
In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
Well, that's our time for tonight, and thank you guys so much for joining us. But before you go, we'll leave you with a video of a giant panda at a Russian zoo chowing down on some bamboo. Be safe, and we'll do this all again tomorrow. See you then.